Welcome everybody to another live edition of our round table right here in our studios from Inside Out. I'm your host Jay. Thank you guys for being here. I do very much appreciate it, and I hope all of you out there are doing well and blessed as I am. So let's go ahead, and before we start the podcast, as you guys know, I want to go ahead and recognize the people in the chat. As you guys see, we got Texas Mom in here, and she says this: "I'm back. Sorry I missed Friday. No worries. I get it. Life gets the best of us sometimes, and sometimes we can't be where we need to be. But hey, you're still here. That's what counts, and I appreciate you more than you know." But anyways, to finish what she said, "I missed Friday. I didn't have the money for my subscription. I get it. I understand. No worries. Sometimes our budgets, shock us sometimes, if you get my drift. I'm right there with you." With that being said, let's go ahead and introduce Trey Stone. What's up, Trey Stone? How you doing? Thank you so much for being here, my friend, and I hope you're doing good where you're at. Also in the chat, we got Cynthia. Absolutely. What's up, Cynthia? How you doing? She says, "Hello, everyone." Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here, as you know. And as you know, Texas Mom said, thanks. She goes, thanks. We're in this fight together, guys. Absolutely. Because without you guys, we wouldn't really have anything. And then we're just sitting here looking like we're twiddling our thumbs, But you're here. Thank you so much for being here. And then, of course, you got our good friend Bert. He said, "Hello, all." And Texas Mom gets back in here again and says, "Welcome in, everyone." And then, of course, let's see, what did I miss here real quick? And Texas Mom says, "It's Wednesday night, roundtable with Tammy and Jay." Absolutely. Perfect. And then, of course, we got Bert in here. I'm going to be paid member to help out. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you too, Bert. God bless you, and I hope you're doing good over there in your neck of the woods. And for right now, last but not least, our co-host Tammy's in here. She said, "Hi, everyone. Love, light, and to all." Absolutely. So with that being said, we got an interesting podcast for you guys tonight, as promised from our Friday show when we talked about it. As you guys know, we're dealing with, not just a laundry list of things with our prisons. We're talking about this too, as well, as you guys can see in the description. The food. Yeah, absolutely. The disgusting food, even if you want to call it that. Let's be honest. I wouldn't feed my kids or animals or anything this crap they call food inside of our prisons. And what gets me very upset with this, guys, if you guys know or remember, it says right on the containers, because I worked in the kitchen, so I can clarify this. Right on the containers, guys, it said right there, consumption. Yeah, real talk. And when I read that, as I was, doing the trays and whatever my chores were in the kitchen, I couldn't believe that I was putting that on these guys' trays. It was kind of nerve-wracking. I kind of felt guilty, if you will, when it came to that. So very, very, it's just disgusting. But then yet you wonder. My problem is with the budget. If you guys remember telling you guys about the budget for this year. If you forgot, this year's budget coming in from the taxpayers was $182 billion. Yeah, you guys heard me correctly on that. $182 billion of our taxes being put into the system, and those are the kind of trays and the kind of food that they get. It's absolutely disgusting. And my friend Texas Mom said this real quick: what they are giving isn't even enough to sustain a child. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And we got some data and whatnot to show you guys here tonight, on that. And just like Truthful Tam said, look at this. I say it all the time. She goes, "I want my money back." Yeah, absolutely. Where's the money? Where's the money going? I mean, $182 billion, and this is what they feed us or them? Absolutely disgusting. Causes so much problems too, health-wise. Bert said this: federal is bad, according to a friend of mine who passed away. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it, and I believe it. And you would think federal would be better because it's bigger, more, I guess, federal level is what I'm trying to say. That's just crazy. All right, and Trey Stone said this. Thank you, Trey, for your comments. I appreciate it. He said, Oakdale had rat bites and urine On the on the potatoes, gnats like insects in the oatmeal. What in the hell? Every 3 days, served spoiled milk, salt, overgrown carrots, and chicken labeled not for human consumption. Oh my lord, I'm about ready to lose my dinner just in that statement, Troy. Thanks for turning my stomach over here, but thanks for keeping it real too. On top of that, I'm not surprised. Um, and of course, my friend Bert said this. I think he died from it. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past me. But I hope that the truth comes out on that nonetheless. And also, he said, "Oh shit, you're in the green room." I'm sorry, Tammy. Holy crap. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't even hear her come in. I didn't even hear the buzzer or whatever go off. So, ladies and gentlemen, our co-host Tammy is in the green room. Let's welcome her real quick. Welcome to the show, Tammy. Sorry about that.
That's
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. I was sitting here. I didn't even hear the thing go off. I didn't even know you were in here.
Okay. It's not a biggie. I'm
Oh
so
wow.
glad.
Anyways, I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to sit and keep you in the green room as long as I
No,
did.
you're
But
okay.
anyways, so let me finish off the chat real quick, and we'll get into the data. Welcome in, Tammy. Bert said he had MRSA. Yeah, and you can get that in there, and we touch base on that and what causes that because our jails and prisons are so clean. Anyways, oh yeah, I got that. Thank you. And then Texas said this at the Sunshine Committee meeting. Someone asked, "Why do the cops or COs, excuse me, get served different food than our loved ones?" Yeah, it's a great because they're special. They don't eat the same food the inmates eat. Yeah, I know. Isn't that's ironic, isn't it? But and then of course Bert said he was fed infected meat from China. I'm not surprised. Wow. Oh, wow. Yeah. And then Texas Mom says, oh, wow. Yeah. Amazing. Well, with that, Tammy, if you can, please tell me what you think before we get into the data. Tell me what you think about tonight's podcast. And thank you so much for being here.
Any you're welcome. I'm glad to help and be part of everything about this. But the funny thing is, it's like if your parents were eating steak and you were eating, like, I don't know, what's the cheapest meat right now? I think pork is
Ham-
like the
I
cheapest
would say
meat.
hamburger, probably hamburger or pork.
Well, I think it really is pork nowadays. I don't know why, but pork used to be expensive. But like the cows, man, they're expensive now. But it'd be like you eating mush, and they're having a ribeye. I don't
Right.
get it. Like,
Right.
the food is not even like, if you look at the thumbnail with the pictures on it, that's actual prison food, guys. So if you want to
Mhm.
like take a screenshot of the podcast thumbnail, that is actually prison food. One
Mhm.
of the videos will go into showing the food. It's
Yeah.
terrible. It's
It,
disgusting. I
yeah.
Inhumane.
Mhm.
Just makes me feel like a piece of crap because there are people in there for like very non-violent crimes,
Mhm. Mhm.
like money, like
Mhm.
say a desperate mother who couldn't feed her kids that was doing what we call check kiting, but writing a check to cover a check to cover another check to cover another check
Yeah.
to make
Yeah.
that money go further because they don't make enough money and they're supporting their children. I mean, people like
Yeah.
that are sitting in jail too, that just
Mhm.
they're treated miserably. And when they give them the Johnny sacks because they're short
Yeah.
staffed,
Yeah.
oh, those are fun. Tell them what a
But
Johnny sack is.
uh,
I think
well,
some people know, some may not.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that word Johnny Sack up because a lot of people don't realize it's just another fancy prison term that they or slogan, whatever they came up with, guys. It's nothing fancy. It's just a cold lunch in a bag or paper bag is all it is. And what you really get in there is well, first off, I wouldn't eat it, and of course, I didn't eat it. But it's like ham, not ham, excuse me, bologna sandwiches. Sometimes you'll get peanut butter and jelly, which is the thing that they like mostly, obviously. But that sliced bologna, yeah, that's
Yeah.
I'm gonna try.
It's not the
Anyways, and
bologna
then
we
of course,
grew up with
then you get an
before.
apple, an orange, or a banana, and then you get a some type of sweet, whatever, being a brownie, maybe a cookie or two, or something along those lines, and maybe a bag of chips if they're being nice. But that's what's in those Johnny sacks. Nothing amazing. Remember the old saying, Tammy, back in the day before all of this ever started? Remember back in the day it was 3 hots and a cot. You remember that statement? 3
Yes.
hots in a cot. Now it's two hots and a cold and a cot.
And by
I
the
mean,
time we
it's
get to what's supposed to be the hot food, it's not hot either.
no,
Especially
not
if
really.
it's a
Not where
certain
not hot enough where it burn your tongue.
no.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, and then of course, my friend Trey. Before we get into the data, guys, Trey said this: the Eighth Amendment, yep, absolutely it does, prohibits cruel and unusual punishment. Oh, yes, yes, it does, which includes inhumane conditions. This is often cited for inaccurate nutrition. Absolutely, I did a show on that, Trey, if you remember. Unsanitary conditions and lack of med care. Boom, Eighth
And
Amendment.
Tanya,
And some people would say,
Texas. Oh, sorry.
"Go ahead."
Texas mom also said it's not good enough for the COs. It's not good enough for my loved one.
Correct. And again, when it comes to what Trey just said there, there's a lot of people in society itself saying that, you know, our locked up loved ones, your locked up loved one, or even me don't have any rights while we're doing time in prison. I can tell you we have the 8th, we have the 1st, we have you know, the 4th, the 5th, and so we have them all. It's just there's a misconception going on there. So that's another thing that irritates me. How many people say you don't have any rights in prison? You do. Even out. When you get out, you get your other ones back. But Cynthia said this, and now we will have illegals added for 10 years straight as if the prisons aren't full enough. Yeah, absolutely. And again, to curtail their incarceration issue, they'll just build a new one. That's their idea of knocking down the mass incarceration issue that we have. Imagine that. Okay, so tell me, which one piece of data or information do you want me to show first tonight on the show?
If you want to do the video first, it's pretty good because it sums up exactly what we're getting into tonight. I think that's a good place
Okay.
to start. I think
We'll
it's the
start there
last
then.
thing I sent
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah, I got it. It's up on my thing here. But yeah, I got that. And what we're going to do, and again, guys, I'm going to be doing share screen, so I won't be able to interact with the chat, but I can see the chat. And we'll come back into the studios, guys, and interact with you guys. So just bear with me on that. I got to set my settings up, as course, because that's how they want me to do things over here. So let's go ahead and get that going. Here it is. Oops. Can you guys see this on the screen okay? Tammy, can you see this?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So for the credit of the video or the channel, this guy, where it's coming from, is called Origins of Food. And again, all credit goes to him. And the title says How You Would Eat in a U.S. Prison. All right. But again, this is their version of this. I want you guys to pay attention to the whole version, and then we'll come back into the studio and we'll get more into the details. Here's that video, guys. Again, all credit goes to Origins of Food on his channel.
You probably won't be surprised to hear that the food in a typical United States prison is terrible.
Oh my god.
But you might be shocked by just how bad it is. From causing foodborne illnesses to lacking nutrients
That's
and
disgusting.
including disgusting, unsanitary things,
Look at the bug.
food in prison
Maggot.
is no laughing matter. Why is the food in prison so unbelievably awful?
Yep.
What does it have to do with dog food? How much do prisons spend on food per inmate? And how can inmates cook for themselves? Be glad you may never have to eat it, and stay tuned to find out the ugly truth behind prison food. This is How You'd Eat in a U.S. Prison. Okay, nobody wants to go to jail, and the whole point is that it isn't a fun place to be. More than 2 million people are incarcerated
Yep.
in the United States. Do you know that the amount and quality of food are some of the biggest issues prisoners face in the U.S.?
Looks so
While no one
appetizing.
expects five-star cuisine behind bars, the food served to incarcerated people is inhumane. So, if you ever found yourself behind bars, what would you eat? While it changes from prison to prison, a typical breakfast might include a small box of cereal with 2% milk, a can of fruit, and maybe a biscuit with something resembling gravy. One prison reported serving a cup of oatmeal and half an egg to inmates. If you're lucky enough to be in a facility that serves lunch, you'd probably get a slice of bologna between 2 pieces of
Oh
white
my
bread
God, I
and a
remember
small
that.
bag of chips. You might get a slice of frozen pizza fried rice with chicken livers, and some canned vegetables for
Ugh.
dinner. Also, don't expect a different diet if you have health issues like celiac disease or are lactose intolerant. What the prison gives you is what you eat, even if it makes you sick. And chances are you would get sick. If you consider the foods we just talked about, you'll notice a trend. They're all highly processed, mainly carbohydrates, and contain a lot of sodium. With practically no fresh fruit or vegetables, you wouldn't get the vitamins or minerals your body needs to stay healthy. Inmates in the US have some of the highest rates of diabetes, heart disease, and weight gain. But why is the food so bad? Well, because it's cheap.
I'm not
Prisons
sure.
work hard to spend as little as possible per inmate. In 2018,
Oh.
Wisconsin reported spending $1.02 per inmate per day on food, and states on the highest end of the scale spent just over $4, not per meal, per day. If you think that's bad, brace yourself. We're just getting started. As you might imagine, the less the food costs, the lower its quality. Because prisons don't care about inmates' health, there are no quality control or food safety measures. A 2018 study reported over 66% of incarcerated people found mold, bugs, and feces in their food. The study states that kitchen staff had to cook meat labeled not for human consumption and include the soy filler commonly found in dog and horse food.
What in the heck?
There are frequent outbreaks of foodborne illnesses like salmonella, leading to severe food poisoning that caused over 20,000 sicknesses and 5 deaths. Because eating food from the kitchen is so dangerous, inmates have resorted to making their meals from whatever they can get at the commissary, which usually includes packaged ramen. They've made ramen into sandwiches, added it to cans of beans, and even turned it into a kind of pizza. There are some signs of positive change, however. In 2019, prisoners at the Mountain View Correctional Facility in Maine planted fruit trees and a huge vegetable
Good
garden.
for them.
It gives them vital nutrients and teaches them to grow and harvest food. Gardening programs like this have begun popping up all over the country. They provide better nutrition for inmates, raise morale, and give incarcerated people a sense of purpose. However you feel about prisons, food is a human right. If you're hungry for more controversial food stories, check out the MSG conspiracy on another episode of Origins of Food.
There you guys go. We're going to come back into the studio. We're all set to get your guys' input on this. Wow, amazing content right there, Tammy. What do you think?
Yeah, especially the key things on it is what they are giving them is actually making the inmates sick or unalived.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then that's increasing that. This sounds callous of me, but I don't mean it this way. But it brings more cost to the taxpayers because insulin's very expensive.
It is,
Any
but that's a
medicine to
generic.
treat diabetes is expensive.
It's a
lot of the
generic.
high
It's
blood
not the real
pressure
stuff.
medicines. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, so it's bringing the tab up. So
Mhm.
they're doing the complete opposite of what they're wanting to do, which is give them crappy food to pay less money. But in the end, on the backside, it makes no sense because you're having to
Yeah.
treat patients that you wouldn't have had to treat
Mm-hmm.
for those
Hey, Vicky, how you doing?
illnesses.
Thank you, Vicky,
That-
for being here. I didn't even know you were in here. Thank you. But yeah, you're right, Tammy. And again, does it kind of remind you now when you saw that video in its entirety, how the budget, when I said the budget earlier, don't add up?
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing to
Yeah,
see
it
the
doesn't
quality?
add up.
And yeah, where is the money going then?
Whose new
You
car
know?
is it paying for, and whose
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
little
I
amenities that they get here and there. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And everybody's spot on some of the comments in here. And I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. And I think I did say hi to Vicky. If I didn't, I'll do it again.
You
Hi,
did.
Vicky. Thank you so much for being in here.
Hi, Vicky.
And of course, yeah. Texas Mom said this: they are supposed to accommodate meals for health and religion reasons, but don't. Yeah, I know. And that's on different podcast. Believe it or not, there's a lot of data there too, because some people can't eat what's on the main tray, so they got to have special trays. That's called special trays or special food because of religion issues. That causes a big hamper in there. Yeah, so you're right, Texas Mom, on that. Our co-host Tammy said this: the DOC thinks they are untouchable. They think. They think. Cynthia said that's beyond inhumane. Absolutely. Now we did this out here under Cynthia's statement. If we pulled that stuff out here, we'd be getting knocks on the doors from CPS.
Yeah,
You know, we would get in
absolutely.
trouble. We would get even when if we had a dog or some type of animal, we fed this garbage to them. Animal control would be knocking on your door. So absolutely, Trey Stone said this. Oh, I forgot about that mystery meat. Yep, mystery meat. It's a mystery loaf. Yeah, they called it bologna. They served on Deli Sub Day. Yeah, and when I looked at mine had some green tinge to it. Yeah, it's
Mm-mm.
nasty.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's nasty. I never ate it. But anyways, and then of course we have let's see who's in here now. Texas Mom said this is why so many come home with stomach cancer in Texas. Yes, and then I also, believe it or not, end up having an issue with gallbladder problems. It started in there when I was doing my time, and it hasn't been right ever since. I thank God that it didn't rupture, but I think what was happening with me, guys, while I was in there, was I was passing those gallstones, and that hurt like a. Mhm. And it's because of the food, a lot of sodium, unhealthy, everything's unhealthy. But anyways, let's go ahead and go down the list here real quick. Vicky, I'm falling behind here. Vicky said this, so true. They don't care about our prisoners. Nope. The story, sons. Wait, what? Okay, but I get what you're saying, Vicky. Thank you so much, and you're absolutely correct.
Basically, her sons have told her the same stories. I think
Oh,
is what she's
gotcha.
getting at about the food.
Thank you, Tammy, for that. I appreciate it. And then
You're
Texas
welcome.
Mom said this: a TDCJ gets more money. Yes, and I think the feds are right there with you on that. Um, and then real quick, guys, Vicky said this: they do not care about medical or inmates. Right? No, absolutely. So I see you guys' comments. I don't really have a lot of time to go through all of these, but I see you guys nonetheless. Thank you guys so much for your comments and being in here. I appreciate you guys more than you know. All right. So the next piece of information and data that we're going to share with you guys is coming up next, and I don't think I'm just gonna pick one. I think because
Yeah, it
they're all
doesn't matter.
bad.
Once you get it up, I'll know which one to go to.
Okay, we'll do that. Oops, hit the allow button. There we go, and then we go here. All right. This is coming from Impact Justice. Are you ready for this, Tammy?
Yeah, give me 1 second. Got it up. Give me 1 second. Okay, now I've got it up. We're good.
Okay. And just for shits and giggles, I got to verbalize it. As you guys know, the routine around here, because you know how YouTube and everybody else is. Anyways, Impact Justice, all information that we're sharing, guys, here tonight is in the description of this live. So feel free to go check it out on your own leisure time if you want, but it's there for your guys' enjoyment. Anyways, food in prison, it says in the title, bringing the movement for food justice inside prisons and jails. And then Tammy, if you want to kick it off, go ahead.
Sure. Food that tastes good and is good for you is the foundation of physical and emotional wellness and a fundamental part of the human experience. That shouldn't change just because someone's incarcerated. In 2020, Impact Justice sparked a national conversation about the poor quality of food in prison and its consequences through our report, Eating Behind Bars, Ending the Hidden Punishment of Food in Prison. Today, we're working on multiple fronts to expand access to fresh, nourishing, appealing food in prisons and jails as fundamental human right and as a part of preparing people to return home healthy and able to contribute to their families and communities. Most
Mhm.
recently, we launched Chefs in Prison in partnership with Dan Giusti, a former chef de cuisine at the Michelin star restaurant Noma, and his company Brigade, which has had a track record of transforming food service in schools. We're united in the belief that with the same energy and commitment, we can transform food in prison. And the Maine Department of Corrections, the one we just heard about in the video,
Mhm.
is excited to
Yep.
be the initial site. After leadership of Commissioner Randall Liberty, the department has already made some improvements to the quality of food particular facilities and is eager to take this work to scale. So basically, what they're going in and doing is working with the prisons in individual states to get them started doing these gardens and fresh
That's
food
good
to the
news because
table.
they used to do it in Washington State, Tammy. I don't know if you know this or not, but they used to do a garden program or have a garden program in Washington State where my locked up well one's currently at. And they took it out because there was no profit in it.
Yeah,
So,
sounds about
but
right.
right. So hopefully they'll bring it back. But I'm all for garden programs. Absolutely. Tammy, go ahead.
Yeah, I am too. So they go in and they help them and they take a new approach to the menu planning and food prep. The effort includes providing quality culinary training to every incarcerated person assigned to work in the prison kitchen with
Mhm.
added benefit of boosting their employment prospects after release. In the few prisons where this culinary training programs do exist, they typically enroll just a handful of people. Chefs in prisons is also an environmentally sensitive pathway to reducing food waste in prisons, a problem nationally, because thoughtfully prepared food is much less likely to end up in the garbage. Like
Mhm.
currently, they throw away their food because they don't want to eat it. We're
Yeah.
grateful to the Posner Foundation of Pittsburgh, Elmina B. Sewell Foundation, and generous individual donors for providing seed funding for chefs in prisons. Prisons function as out of sight food deserts, perpetuating patterns of poor health and communities that already experience profound inequities. The growing movement for food justice will not be complete until it reaches inside prisons and jails.
Yeah.
They're
That's
also
amazing.
working in California, it says, to increase access and consumption of California grown fruits and vegetables in state prisons. So
Wow.
we could go through this whole thing, but I really wanted to put this up mostly for everybody to go check it out. And if
Yeah.
we
It's
can
there
do anything just to
it's
be
in the description.
supportive,
Yes.
to be supportive of what they're doing or get involved somehow in our own states individually to
Mhm.
push these programs to become realities, I think it would be a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
So I wanted to
Absolutely.
put the positive spin on a horrible, terrible thing that our loved ones are going through currently. You know,
Mhm.
it impacts everybody in and out of
Correct.
prison. So why not
Correct.
make it a good thing? You have guys and girls working in the kitchen, learning culinary arts, and then you have others out there learning horticulture and how to
Mhm.
grow plants and how to be effective at farming and
Correct.
innovating.
Right.
So
And,
I
and
mean,
right.
it's terrible that we don't do it.
Right. And again, like you heard me before, guys, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but if you guys heard me before, in my home state where I'm originally from, in those prisons in my home state, they actually did, again, to just, recap, they actually did have the garden program in Washington. And now you're seeing it bring back in Maine. It's funny how they take it out and then bring it back. And then it's weird how they do that. But again, it comes down to the budget. But then when I told you guys how much money is already coming into the budget for this year only, they're lying to you guys. There's no excuse why we can't have any of these programs. And technically, we shouldn't even charge for the programs. I mean, I get it. People want to help garden, and they want to get paid to help you how to garden. Who taught me how to garden? I had to kind of learn on my own. I didn't have no books or teachers, or I had to learn. We don't always have to charge people for programs to do gardens. Why does everything have to be charged? So I look at it like this: get out there and do it anyways. There's enough room on these yards to build a garden. I just tired of hearing excuses. Tammy.
Yeah, me too. We need to push for effective change. I think some of the problem comes in with people hear about a problem, everybody gets up and is all offended and they complain and they push, and then
Mhm.
then the DOC has to answer back because so many people are pissed about that subject. Kind of like
Yeah,
AC and heat. They get
yeah,
mad
yeah,
in the summer when there's no AC, but they need to continue being mad through the rest of the year and keep that pressure applied to
yeah,
the DOC till the problem is corrected. We
yeah.
can't just back off and say, "Oh, Well, thank God it's not summer. They get to cool off now, and then so it goes away until the next summer. That's why we have this revolving wheel of shit. We have
You're
to
right.
keep on them. When you
Yeah.
find an equity, you have to stay on them and
Mhm.
not let up.
Mhm.
It's like a
No,
dog with
you're
a bone. You got to bite on that bone and hold that bone, or somebody's going to take your bone. And they're going to
mhm.
throw it a couple feet away, and you're going to have to go chase that bone again.
Yeah. Man, you
Get
took
out
the
of the
words
car.
right out. No, you're good, Tammy. You took the words right out of my mouth, because you have to understand that it's funny during the summer months, during all of this heat related issues. And by God, did we have some, man? Well, man, it was busy. But we had all these heat related issues, if you guys remember, and we had all this energy, all this pumped up, like, energy. And all of a sudden, well, now winter is pretty much here, fall is pretty much here. Now it's kind of like died down. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be heater or cold related issues.
Everybody's
Oh, it's
freezing.
so cold. Yeah. It's a never ending vicious cycle, guys. It's either summer, winter, or something in between that something's going down. And then on top of that, you don't get the same energy. You lose the energy. People, I don't know what it is. It's like, dang. But anyways, back in the chat real quick, and then we got one more article that we want to show you guys. Again, thank you guys so much for being here. Love and respect you all. Trey Stone said this: possible legal remedies. Okay, monetary compensation, injunctive relief. My bad. Reduction of sentence. That would be and class action lawsuit. Yeah. And these all these things that Trey just said can happen. You just got to know how to do it. And thank you, Trey, for your insight, man. I appreciate you. Awesome. I just lost my train of thought. I guess what we'll do is going into the next article. Or go ahead, Tammy.
Hang on a second. Trey said, unfortunately, you must typically exhaust administrative remedies before filing a lawsuit in federal court, required under the Prison Litigation Reform Act. You know what, Trey, though? This is what I think about that. I think we need to go back and have them repeal that act. And just like I used to tell them when my husband, one of my ex-husbands, was in the Army, and I had an issue that happened with my daughter at the emergency room at the military Army base hospital, the post. And I filed a grievance, and the soldier looked at me. He says, "Why are there so many copies?" Because it said 1 of 8. And I said, well, I gave a copy of my grievance to my husband's first sergeant. I said, and his company commander. And I said, and then the chaplain, and then this one and that one. I start naming off all these people. And I said, and I'm fixing to go down the hall and talk to the hospital, the administrator of the hospital. And
hey, Rose.
He said, you can't do that. You have to follow protocol. I looked at him. I said, excuse me. I said, what am I wearing? He said, what do you mean? I said, am I in uniform? He said, no, ma'am, you're not. I said, I don't have to follow your protocol. I'm not enlisted in the Army. My husband is, but I'm not. I'm going to follow my protocol because I want something done.
Yeah.
And I went over and I did what I had to do. And then when I saw the administrator of the hospital, I said, I want something done about this doctor that I had to see last night with my daughter. And
right.
And he said, I will look into it. I said, well, I'm just letting you know I'm on my way to 3rd Corps, and I'm fixing to go talk to the generals over there.
Wow.
That's the highest you can go. I said, and I've already sent 2 letters to my Congress members for this district.
Right. Wow.
It changed hospital policy, but that's what I'm telling you. You have to be willing to get in the fight. This food crap, it needs to stop.
Yeah,
the heat,
I guess
air, all of it.
Yeah, absolutely, Cynthia. And of course, Trey goes, boss, ? And then wouldn't you know it, boss comes in and puts hearts. So Trey, you won your bet. I got in here and said she's not in here, and then all of a sudden she pops in here. She's like psychic.
She's like, I'll show you.
Yeah. Well,
Who
thank you,
knows?
boss. And thank you, boss. I'm glad you're in here. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you, honey, for being here. Hope you're doing good. She's at work right now. But anyways,
Aw.
guys, she said, Vicky said this. So true, Cynthia. And again, when Cynthia was talking about, I believe this right here. Let's put it back up here real quick, guys, for your guys' viewing pleasure. She said this, from what I've seen, most prisons have acres and acres that are open, empty areas that could be used for gardening. Absolutely. I told you they have space. Some of the space is not even being used for rec. So if they're not using it for the inmates as a whole, then turning it into a garden. There's plenty of room. Absolutely. But yeah, thank you so much for that, Cynthia. I appreciate you. So there you go. So Tammy, if you want to, and we can go ahead and open up the next portion of the data, and then we can just go from there if you want.
Bert, boss is the wife.
Yes, boss is
That's
the wife,
Cindy.
Bert. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, well, let me get it up real quick and we'll
No
go
worries.
through this
But
next
anyways, we'll
one.
go ahead and do the share
Okay.
screen. So
I'm ready.
bear with us, guys. We're going to do the share screen again, and we're going to go ahead and bring up the next article under this topic tonight for our food. There it is. And again, verbalized it. This is coming from Vera. This is also in the description of our podcast tonight. So if you want to go see it on your own time, you can do that. Just click it. There it is. Anyways, there it is, guys. Cheap jail and prison food is making people sick. It doesn't have to. And again, this is all credit going to Vera, which is a website. All right, go ahead, Tammy.
Penny pinching on food services, fleeces, incarcerated people and their families has adverse health impacts, all while lining the pockets of corporations. Better ways to exist. It's one of my trademark meals to this day. Matthew, of his unique spin on Thanksgiving staple, pepperoni cornbread stuffing. It was the then head cook's answer to the lack of sausage available at his correctional facility in the Northeast. I got everybody together. I had everybody buy pepperoni off the commissary, he recalled. And with over 100 packages contributed, Matthew's crowd-funded concoction was a hit. And he made pepperoni stuffing for several years running afterward. And now,
Wow.
post-release, it features on his family's own holiday table.
Oh, wow.
Maneuvering around constraints imposed by ubiquitous Keith Group, which supplies food and other services to correctional facilities nationwide, Matthew worked to make eating behind bars tolerable, even enjoyable. He resisted serving food he considered substandard, and whenever possible, heeded his peers' requests and preferences. Food is a sense of relief when you can go to the kitchen and get a good meal. It's uplifting,
Absolutely.
he said. I always tried to produce that for people. Still, despite Matthew's ingenuity, his efforts were ultimately that of an individual person attempting to alleviate and make up for institutional failures to provide adequate, healthy food, a misconceived cost saving measure that's lucrative for corporations. Most states spend less than $3 per person a day on prison food services. Under Sheriff Joe Arapo, the jail system in Maricopa County, Arizona, served meals only twice per day, which cost between 15 and 40 cents apiece. This focus on thrift means that the meals provide merely enough sustenance for survival, but the prison food can endanger even that basic purpose. In
Yep.
2020, Impact Justice led a national investigation into prison food. That's the company we just read about a while ago, or that group. They found that 3 out of 4 people surveyed were served spoiled food while incarcerated. 3 out of 4 people. This
Gosh.
status quo is not just wrong, but unnecessary. Pioneering correctional institutions have devised systems that provide nutritious, satisfying food and save money. So we just read about that prison or food deserts. In an essay for the Appeal, Michael Capers recalled contraband that resulted in his first misbehavior report. Vegetables from the mess hall that were about to be composted. A vegetarian, Capers dubbed prisons with their dearth of fresh food and not even available for purchase from the commissary. Food
Wow.
deserts. This lack of availability isn't an isolated complaint. Impact Justice's investigations found that 62% of respondents said they rarely never had access to fresh vegetables, and nearly 55% said the same regarding fruit. And even when fresh food is provided, it's typically low quality. As the spouse of a man incarcerated in Virginia, quoted in the report, noted, apples are often rotten. A fresh vegetable usually means a couple of carrots or celery sticks. Matthew
Jeez.
echoed in the sentiment, saying that the vendors often circumvent nutritional requirements with snack offerings. Fresh produce wasn't put into a meal.
Wow.
So, and then we get into the commissaries. This is another whole racket for them. I feel like they do it on purpose and make our inmates have to have their loved ones on the outside supply food to supplement, and none of the food is good for them. There is nothing healthy on the commissary.
Right, and that's the catch that not many people know about, Tammy, is that, the state feels that the state's doing their part and can get away with it. And I got more data on the state aspect of things, like the FDA and all that, here in a second when this is done here. But that's the reason what makes them be forced to buy commissary, because they know they're not getting enough on the trays.
Correct. So it says Matthew frequently utilized commissary products to ginger up vendor-provided meals. With his commitment to accommodate every community, he'd make Spanish rice for the Latino community if they bought olives. Jamaican peers would bring him curry powder for curry chicken. Other system-impacted people have even penned cookbooks like Albert Prodigy Johnson's Commissary Kitchen. Y'all might want to go check that out, Commissary Kitchen. It's the name of his book. Yet the commissary is often out of reach. 3 out of 5 formerly incarcerated people reported having been unable to afford anything from it. 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5 people not able to get commissary. Necessities like soap aren't provided and they have to be purchased, making food a luxury item. Sampling 3 states, the Prison Policy Initiative found that incarcerated people spent an average of $947 at the commissary per year. I'm telling you, that's a low estimate. I'm letting you know that's a low. I spend more than that. I spend about $210.
I think it's higher than that. Yeah, go ahead.
I spend about $210 a month. So if that gives y'all a better idea, it's about $2,400. They're about $1,200 shy. At the commissary.
So how old is this report?
2022.
Okay, that's why.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I have to look.
Up.
I have to go back up and look. I'll check it out in a second.
That's why. But go ahead.
Indicating that so it exceeds the typical prison earnings for those states of $180 to $660 per year, which we know that's BS too, because they make pennies on the dollar. Indicating that many likely have outside financial help. In some cases, the relationship between food and service commissaries is symbiotic. Many vendors like the BMF Aramark, the country's largest food service provider, are
I know those guys.
Yep. They're both sorry, give me a sec. To run both meal services and the commissary. This can create a perverse incentive. The worse the meals, the greater the need to spend. Like I said, they do it on purpose. Even the facilities where separate companies manage food services and commissaries, that separation can be an illusion of corporate structuring, preserving the reciprocal dynamic.
Yeah, you don't have to read this whole thing, Tammy, but like I said, that there's a lot here, guys. Again, this is in the description. Go check it out for your own well-being to what we didn't read. But there's the data, there's the evidence, there's the facts, guys, right there. Let's go back in the studio.
Well, let me say a couple things real quick, if you don't mind, on this paragraph.
No,
because I want everybody familiar with it. So far we said Keefe and we said Aramark. Also, Trinity Services Group Incorporated.
Yep.
Cleveland.com reported a sharp decline in the jail's already poor food quality once they got a hold of them using Trinity.
Mhm.
And then Keith raised the price of diced chicken breast by 136% from 2022. So this
Mhm.
article was actually written in February of this year, but they raised the price by 136%.
That's that, and I'm going to highlight that right there for everybody. Look at that, 136%, and of course, keep in mind that that is actually higher now.
Just
This
from
is
2 years ago.
yeah.
2 years they raised it
So
136%. That's crazy.
yeah, do the math, guys. It's ridiculous. At $182 billion annually every year coming into the system, something's not mathing.
And it says that people incarcerated were 6 times more likely to contract foodborne illnesses.
Because it's food poisoning. They don't cook it right.
And 44% of the people incarcerated in state or federal prisons reported having a chronic illness.
Yeah.
Compared to 31% of the general population out in the free world.
Yeah.
44%, almost half.
It's ridiculous, guys. And real quick, a study found that each year spent in prison translated to 2 year decline in life expectancy. It's easy to see how. That should be scary and concerning.
Yeah. And then it said that it only takes 4 weeks of eating a poor diet to cause a lasting impact in your health.
Well, that explains my gallbladder issue.
Yeah, it says 156% more sodium than what is recommended. But this is FDA approved, so we should be happy about that. Kind of like half the drugs that they supposed to have.
That's funny how you brought the FDA up in this, because the FDA is all over this. Their handwriting, their signature, everything's all over this crap. FDA approved, but look at the numbers, look at the crap, look at the health problems. Okay, FDA, somebody's got some explaining to do.
And so if you go down later in the article, there's another group in here called the Sustainability in Prisons Project. It's a visionary example of the Washington Department of Corrections and Evergreen State College. They run a beekeeping and composting programs on site.
That's cool.
So that's really cool, guys. And then, we just got to keep looking. There's a lot of little articles they have in here about basic affordable supplies for incarcerated Californians Act in California. They said that it's to curtail the commissary price gouging of over as much as 200%. They were price gouging them for commissary items as much as a 200% markup.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine that. So to say this real quick, guys, so there's some clarification, and you can actually take this information that I'm going to tell you and give it to your locked up loved one, because I don't know if they know. But DLC gets mad when I say things like this, and even show you on the screen, but I'll verbalize it for tonight. I've told you guys numerous times that, yes, what Tammy said earlier, the FDA is involved in these food trades. Now, if you're asking questions why that is, here's why. Everything that you see on those trays, in the thumbnail, and all of that, believe it or not, each and every one of those trays, like I said, are approved by the FDA. Here's why. Because we are technically, from a health standard reason, we're only, even out here, but we don't, we're only supposed to have 2,000 calories. All right, guys. So what does that mean? What does 2,000 calories look like? Well, on the trays, it's not, but according to the FDA, it is. The reason why out here we eat more than 2,000 calories a day every day, and it's so bad for us. And we know that causes a problem, because we live in a free world and we can just go whatever restaurant or cook whatever you want. In prison, you don't get that. So the FDA has control of how much food they want to dish out, and they give you 2,000 calories, which is standard, and that's the reason why our locked up loved ones can't sue. Tammy?
That's exactly the issue. We're entrusting in a government program to oversee another government program.
Mhm.
Listen, I am going to be the first person that will always say, if the government's running it, it's probably going to be wasteful. It's probably
Mhm.
going to be screwed up, and it's probably going to be something that benefits and they profit from, not the people that they're supposed to
Correct.
be serving. I
Correct.
know that sounds anti-American, anti-whatever. Listen, if it walks like a duck, it talks like a duck, quack, quack, it's a duck.
Amen.
Not rocket science that we're talking about here. This is human lives. There's a way to feed people in a humane way. We're not asking
Okay.
for them to have, one of these major companies, restaurants, 5-tier
Mhm.
service. We're asking for them to have healthy, nutritionist food
Mhm.
that won't kill them, unalive them.
Mhm.
Oh, crap, I'm sorry, unalive
Oh,
them. That's all
you're
we're
good.
asking for, is them to be treated like a human being.
Right, and you can see here Rose, our good friend Rose, and welcome in Rose. She said athletes require more calories. So do people that work out, not just athletes. Muscle builders, people that work out all the time. Anybody that has a vigorous workout require more than that because they're burning so much. So absolutely. And again, don't get it wrong. Our inmates do, they work out too. Yep, absolutely. So it's crazy, and everybody's spot on this. This is ridiculous. And again, what can we do? The question always comes up to me: what can we do to fix this problem? Well, I'll tell you what we can do. And thank you, Rose, for your comments. I appreciate it. Bert said, "Sorry, I can't share." LOL. You should be. I thought you were a mod. Um, I'll have to take care of that, Bert. Sorry about that. Oh wait, never mind. I know why. Okay. Anyways, I'll fix it. Just bear with me. Anyways, my point is, I think we should take the FD out of it. Do you agree, Tammy? Do you think we should take the FDA out of the food and do it the normal
Yep.
way?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
We need an independent panel for prisons, period, across the board, to do with food or anything else. Because listen, it's not getting any better.
Mhm.
The situation that they're having with this pocketing it and doing things with the money that's uncalled
Mhm.
for.
Mhm.
My husband one day, he said, he cooks in the kitchen. He was like, "Oh yeah," he said, "we had ribs today." I said, "Y'all had ribs? I said, "You're shitting me, right?" He goes, "No." He goes, "We had to feed the COs, and we were able to have some." And I was like, advantages of being
Wow.
able to work in the kitchen, right? But like, it's
I don't.
sad.
Yeah.
It's sad. And Texas has
Special treat.
pig farms. We have pig farms,
Yeah. Oh,
but the
I
prisoners
know.
take care of the pigs. Like, they should be having bacon for breakfast, or ham or whatever. But they're eating this terrible stuff that's not even food.
Yeah.
Vicky
Well,
had
and
to leave.
again,
Her internet went down, or she had technical difficulties. She said, "Love and light to everyone," and good night and
okay.
everything. She wanted me to let y'all know that real quick.
Okay. So was it on my end or her end?
Her end, she out where
Okay.
she is. Sometimes it goes out like that.
Dang. All right. Well, I did get to say goodbye to her, but anyways, from all of us here from Fion, have a great night, Vicky.
I'm telling her right now. I'll say good night.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. With that said, man, what an interesting show, and I hope you guys really appreciate all the data that was in here tonight. Because again, you're not going to get this nowhere else. Our news agencies aren't going to say this stuff. They're not going to bring the facts to the table, and you can clearly see why. So my closing thing on this is this. Like I said, I think the FDA needs to get their nose out of it, 100%. I think we need to stop this private business organizations getting involved with our food. I think we should bring back our gardens, 100%. Absolutely, there's enough room for it. And then, of course, there's other issues and whatnot that can be changed to make the food itself better. I think back in the day, we need to cook our food right in the prison. not haul it off on trucks and bring it here on warmers. That's what they do. This food is already cooked somewhere else. They bring it to the prison, warm it up, and serve it. By the time you get it, it's cold. And it's already being pre-portioned and all that before it's even reaching the prison. So it's all made at that food place, the place that you
Yeah.
mentioned earlier. Yeah, the private food company, the one that are contracted under.
And
So
I'm gonna tell you, and this kept me from eating like anything beef for like a year. I swear to God, it was the worst thing. So my dad had a cleaning company, and I had helped him out and went and worked for him for a little bit, for a little period of time, and it was at a beef plant. It's called XL Beef, but now it's called something else. So stick around so you can go ahead and hit the. Oh, hang on, sorry, I'm telling Texas Mom something. So long story short, I'd have to clean the trucker office and then the corporate offices and then go inside.
good night, Bert. Take care, man. Thanks for being here, Bert. Sorry, Tammy, I had to say it.
Thank you, Bert. And so I'd have to clean the infirmary, so I'd have to go through the plant itself. And let me tell you, the smell of all the stuff that's left over, they put it in this vat and they crush it down in this liquid, and it's added to like deodorant and soaps and stuff. It's a filler, it's a binder. Now I'm starting to think, did that go into the food that prisoners are eating? Is that stuff? The smell was just putrid. I could not even.
I wouldn't.
Disgusting.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, me either. I wonder now, though. Now it makes me wonder, did they do that?
Right. And before we go out of here, Trey hit something on a nail. I want to put it back up. He said this: file your grievances. I've been saying that since day one. File your grievances, but check out what he says here. Pay attention to this because it's very important because it does happen. But you need to keep your locker clean, and you all know what that means. Not physically your locker. There's but anyways, they will shake you down and retaliate. Absolutely, it will. Nobody likes basically snitching in a sense. Lawsuits should bypass the prison administrators. Yeah. Yep. But keep in mind when you Texas Mom, man,
you got to do it, Jay. You have to do it.
Oh, okay. Now that she did that, she's got it. I got to do it. Here it is. Imagine that. Absolutely, Texas Mom. Imagine that. Oh man, you guys are great. But anyways, absolutely, grievances don't get heard; they get lost in or tossed away, ripped up, tossed in the garbage. They get ignored. It happens, and unfortunately, like I said, I'm glad that this thing, what was it, passed back in July, that we did a show on, Tammy, for insight coming in when not
the
private
Prison Reform
Yeah.
Act. Yeah,
we're
federal, so we need to get it at that state level.
well, it will follow suit. It will follow suit. Give it time. Yeah. But that's go ahead.
Let me tell Texas Mom something because she's going to come in the green room with us. So go up to the top of the chat and you're going to see the Restream link.
Yep, it's up there.
Up there, and hit it, and then Jay can let you in.
Yeah. Hopefully
I have no clue how to do that kind of stuff. And I don't think I can. I think only the person doing the live can do that.
Well,
say allow, but you don't have to do your video camera. You can just do your.
You don't have to show your face. You can leave that part out. But I did set the settings where Tammy, like, if you had something to share, you could share it on the screen. So I mean, yeah, I have the controls here on my screen, but I gave you some control too. So just so you know, what'd she say?
I said, don't give me control of anything. You hear?
Oh, fair enough. But yeah, well, while we're waiting for Texas Mom, did you have while we're waiting for her, real quick, Tammy, did you have a closing arguments?
Just that, look, guys, I can say this and I can beat it into the ground. When someone is incarcerated, we are all one step from being right in their shoes. I don't know too many people that haven't done something in their life that could have gotten them thrown in jail with the right
Mhm.
police officer arresting them or getting in front of a certain judge or getting dealt a bad hand from something where you made a maybe not so good decision. But we're out here. We can walk to the fridge when we're thirsty or hungry, or
Yes, they
we can
can't.
even walk and drink out of the garden hose for goodness sake.
I have.
But let me tell you, they're in there. Their punishment is being incarcerated. Their
Yes,
punishment isn't being abused, neglected, or unalived.
sure.
And food is a very basic need.
Mhm.
And so, but some of this is not even considered food on the
No,
labels itself.
yeah,
So we need
trust me, I've
to
seen it.
push for change in this is a battle. And think about those kids that are incarcerated. They're
Mhm,
children and they're
mhm.
being served the same thing. We don't want that. We don't come on guys. We have
Yeah,
to get on this
and
bandwagon. We have to.
right, and look, and you can see Rose is right on the same page with you, Tammy. She said this,
I
Tammy, for
love Rose.
sure. People need to get off their moral high horse. There you go.
They sure do, because those very people that bitch the most and complain the most,
Hey,
sorry, Trey, the people that are so ugly about it and hypocritical are also doing crimes. And they're also
mhm,
doing offensive things behind closed doors that they don't want people to see, I promise you. And they
yeah,
need to stop and think, this could be me. This could be my daughter, my son, my wife, my husband, my
mhm.
father, my mother, my cousin.
Been
And the
there, done
list goes
that right
on.
there. That statement hits hard. I've been there, done that.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah, I
Cynthia,
know,
I
Cynthia.
love you, girl. I love
Yeah,
you.
we all do.
You
Love
and
you,
your
Cynthia.
sister and your son.
The whole
My
family.
heart, it crushes me.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
yeah, absolutely, Cynthia. Thank you so much for your comment, Cynthia, and I hope you're doing good. Again, reach out to us anytime you have something going on. We're here for you. That goes for everybody, not just Cynthia. All right. I know I can be hard ass sometimes. I know I can be, the person that I am, but that's just the human coming out of me. So I make mistakes and I don't mean to do what I do. But in any event, is Texas mom going to come up, Tammy, or is she having still issues?
That's what I'm trying to find out. I think she probably wrote me. Hang on. Okay, Texas mom, do you see it? There's a link. Joe, Joe, I'm so sorry. Jay put it in the chat.
Yeah, it's right there. Right there.
Can you send her the chat to
Oh,
her Facebook?
I think she's in here now.
Okay.
Yep, there she is. All right. Well, welcome everybody to Texas Mom. Hi, Texas Mom. How you doing?
Good. How are y'all?
Wow, it's good to see you. Thank you for coming in here. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks. I finally figured it out.
Yay! Yeah,
It's
good.
not
And see,
so bad, right?
no, you're not. No. Yeah, see, you don't even have to. You don't have to show your face, so you're good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So,
So,
did you have any? Go ahead.
yeah,
Well,
that's
I
what I
don't
was
know.
going to ask her if she had anything she wanted to put put in some feedback on this podcast.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, it's sad, like what they expect our men and women to like live off of and survive. I'll be honest with y'all. Until I started advocating, I started advocating like a few months prior to TDCJ going on their statewide lockdown.
Hmm.
And then once I was advocating and I was in that closed group and the pictures and the videos and all that came in, y'all, I was shocked. I was
Yeah.
like, I was appalled. I was like, how in the world are this, the food they serve them, the portions, everything like that wouldn't even sustain a child, yet alone a grown adult.
You would think it would be illegal,
And
right? Yeah.
yes,
It's
Yeah.
criminal. That's my
it,
that's
it,
my
it's
take on it. Almost
that's
everything they do, it's
heartbreaking.
about.
Yeah.
And and then the things they get away with, like I know like Region 3, in Texas, like their water is contaminated and so many of them, especially from that region as well, come home with stomach cancer. They have issues in there, and it's just like, meh, okay, whatever. And I'm just
Mm.
like,
Yeah.
how is it even
It, it,
ethical? Oh,
right.
it's crazy.
And it makes you just a majorly wake up call for you as a whole, being that you're not, you didn't know nothing about this until you got involved, say like for this or other groups that you belong to. You don't realize it until it kind of hits you. You're like, holy crap, with all due respect. Sorry for the words, but it's a shocker. It's a cult shocker. It surprises everybody. Like Tammy, before she got involved like she is now, she was like, like I thought before I got before I fell, she was like, oh yeah, prison's cool, and then and then she tells me in the private chat, it's like I woke up and I didn't realize I was like the other way around. So it makes you wake up, makes you realize how bad and how corrupt it really is. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly. And then, your loved ones don't really share. Like, I told my husband, I was like, why didn't you say anything? He's like, for what? Like,
right.
and I'm just blown away.
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't
absolutely.
like to tell us because they don't want us to know, because they don't want us to. Sometimes it's fear of retaliation. Sometimes it's them being considerate of our feelings, and they just don't
Mhm,
want us to hurt for them, or the way
mhm.
Exactly.
it's their way of trying to protect us. But if we don't know, we can't do anything. And that's what I told my husband. I said, you need to tell me, because I need to be able to start something
Mhm.
and do something. I was terrible before
Yeah,
he went to prison. I didn't know anything. But I'll
right.
be danged if I didn't start investigating and asking questions and looking beyond, you know, like
Absolutely.
Mhm.
even at the county jail, I'm telling you,
Yeah. That's worse.
Jay will tell you how terrible was I.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I'll let you do that. I'm not gonna.
I
Yeah.
I will tell you, I would call up
Well,
there
welcome back, Vicky.
and, oh good, she came back. I would call up there and I'd be like, where is he?
Mhm,
I want to speak to medical. And medical one night, they were like trying to blow me off. And I said, look, I have your name down. And if
mhm.
anything happens to him, oh, you're going to wish. I said, because
Yeah.
you are legally responsible for his life right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But remember, Tam, when we did a show on just medical itself, and we were all appalled on how that medical aspect of things. I mean, you think about it. You got these medical staff that are just freshly right out of college, or better known as interns. You know what I'm talking about, Texas Mom?
Right.
Interns,
Yeah.
college grads coming in and trying to be, like they know everything. That's what causes a lot of mistakes too.
Yes.
So,
It
yeah.
does.
So it's very sad. But anyways, I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to add, Tammy, or if you had anything else you wanted to add, Texas Mom. Go ahead, feel free. But we are at top of the hour, so go ahead.
We're good. We're just going to wait in the green room for you so we can
Oh,
talk about next week. So
oh, cool,
that's
cool
kind of
beans.
stuff.
I appreciate that. Thanks for standing by. I didn't know if you guys wanted to do that or not. I was just going to ask you that. All right,
Yeah.
cool. Well, I'll put you guys in the green room in just a second. But let me go ahead and just say what I need to say again. Vicky said this before we go. She said this in the chat. County sucks. Still fighting for my son. Yes, that's why they call it hard time, folks. Any county jail in any state here in the United States is considered hard time. That's why everybody's like, I can't be here any longer. Send me to prison, because prison, in hindsight, is better. So, yeah, absolutely. And then one last comment. Looks like just came in from our good friend Cynthia. She said this. That's exactly what I tell my son. If he doesn't tell me the truth of what's going on there, I can't help. He doesn't want to stress me out, but I need to know. And I get it.
Right.
It's both sides of the fence. It's hard when you want to, help, but it's also hard to try to keep the stress away too. Does that make sense? So I get it. It's on both sides of the fence.
Right.
Um,
Well, we're going to
yeah,
keep
that's
pushing.
yeah, bad news is not always good to say, but I get it. But all right, with that being said, thank you, Cynthia, and everybody, excuse me, everybody in the chat. Thank you guys so much for being here. And again, Tammy, thanks for your help for tonight. I appreciate it, as always, the data and everything. And of course, Texas Mom, glad to see you in here tonight. And hopefully you'll be up here again on the panel again for future shows. I greatly appreciate it.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. All right. With that being said, we got Friday show coming up, and Tammy, I don't know if you know. Do you have an idea what Friday show is about?
No, I'm waiting. There's one thing I might want to talk about, the Riley Lincoln case, maybe, but I need to
All right,
research some data on it first.
because I thought we had an update on the Mendez brothers.
Not
That's why I was
yet. They
asking.
haven't come out yet. I'm trying. I need to look and check on that.
Okay.
I want
All
to
right.
see if
Well,
they
fair.
gave a definitive until the court like hands down. They're going da 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 da. That's when I
Fair enough.
really want to dig in.
Fair enough. All right. Well, we'll make something out of it, anyways. But we'll keep you guys updated on that case because there's good news with that.
Yes.
He froze.
Before that, anyways, you guys have a great night, and we will see you guys next time right here from Inside Out. Good night, everybody. Take care. Peace.
Good night.